Beloved, welcome back to the homestead. As you may remember, last year we started reforesting our homestead. A lot of cleared pastures and a lot of the native species were logged out years ago. We're reintroducing native species and trying to reestablish a forest like it would have been 200 years ago. This year we've got 100 brand new trees. They just came in and we couldn't have a better time to plant. We've got the spring rain, the sun is out, and I thought we would do that today. So let's go load up our tools and we'll head out there. We'll take a look at what happened last year, how the Forest 1.0 survived the winter, and see if we can't add to it. My manservant, Mr. Jiraiya, told me the trees had come in. I have yet to see them. I'm guessing they're in here somewhere. I do not see the trees in here, but I do see some things we need. We got these protectors last year because the deer, well, they like these little trees. So if you can cover them up for the first year or two, it gives your survival rates, or makes them a lot higher. One thing that really surprised me last year was the trees that we protected in these green covers thrived a lot more than the ones we put in these loose ones, these open ones. What's really surprised me, I don't know if it's the reflection or what, but I don't have a lot of these left. We'll use these on our nicer trees, but we'll finish up with these guys. We also found that you have to have sticks. You can get these big bunches of these bamboo sticks and put those in the ground, and it helps the wind will knock them over, the animals will tread them down. So you really need both these sticks and the protectors. Mr. Peter picked up the trees, but I'm not sure where he put them. Not in the back of his truck. Maybe he dropped them off down at the war camp. Let's go check that. Not in the war camp. Oh, I don't see him in there. Oh, got a text. They are in the shop. I need to look better. All right, let's head over there and we'll grab them. Back left corner of the shop. Oh. I was looking for something bigger. I was expecting a little bit bigger bag. I keep thinking back to the first time we planted a forest. I bought 1,500 trees. Never again. That's a lot of work planting 1,500 trees. I stick to 100 now. Mr. Jiraiya saved some mulch from Mrs. W's garden here in the trailer. We're gonna hook on and try that. Keep some moisture in. This is some really nice mulch. How heavy is this? Oh, too heavy. I guess 3 weeks of rain has put some weight in that. How about we go plant our trees and we'll shovel some of this out into the back and just take what we need. Before we start planting, let's do a quick tour of the Forest 1.0 and see how the little trees did. In the last month, I've gotten more video requests for an update on the tiny forest than anything in a long time. These are looking good. They're a little bit stressed, a little yellow. Some of them better than others. Now my best and brightest, I put down here, of course, my beloved Douglas fir, the tree of my people. Look at these, gentlemen. Beautiful. Throwing up sprouts. These things are gonna absolutely blow up here in the next couple days. How can you imagine this forest? These stately Douglas firs. That one didn't make it. That one didn't make it. And red cedars, that little cedar made it. Look at this guy. These guys were, oh, look at that. That is very thick and robust. Little stressed, little yellow, but I'll bet it'll come out of it really well. Let's go check our cedars. My long-term plan is to thin out some of these aspens and have these beautiful western red cedars right down here on the riverbank, and they look good. These things were plugs. They were no more than maybe 2 or 3 inches, and look at them now. 4x, I'll bet. So all of these through here, all western red cedars. Now western red cedars, sequoias, they love water, and so that's why I put them down here. Can you imagine giant cedars, this giant cedar grove right here at the bend of the river? And they're all doing well. Look at this guy. Look at that. Really doing well. Cedars will shade the war camp. Probably not for me, but for my legacy. This would be the legacy I leave for my children. One spot I'm keen to plant is right here at this big stump. This is a huge stump. Now a tree exerts tremendous energy driving roots down into the ground, breaking up the soil, and it's basically an incubator for small trees. So we'll plant about 3 or 4 around there, and they can kind of go forward on the energy that was expelled by the original tree. That's a great place to plant. Shall we see what we have this year? Mrs. W ordered the trees this year. She asked me what I wanted. I said, I trust you. You know what I like. We're of the same mind. Seems to me planting trees is one of the few ways you can get back to the original design for us. You know, when Adam and Eve were in the garden, they weren't there just to do nothing. They were there to tend, plant, and to animal husbandry, to create, to build, to breed. Planting trees is very similar to that. I always think of that. All right, so we have, these look like, boy, these are sprouting. They look very healthy. We have some deciduous. Now you want to have in your forest, you want to have a good mix of deciduous and conifers. The reason why we're having a lot of these bark beetles problems and these massive fires and these huge forest die-offs is because of greed. Greed of the timber industry that just plants monocrops, meaning just one species. They only plant one because it's so valuable. It's the money, it's the cash crop. In a natural forest, you have a nice mix. You've got pines and firs and cedars, and you've got broadleaf, oak, deciduous. They all help each other. When a bug comes in, God's plan is he has a different tree that will repel it. And it just is a much healthier forest. And we're just now figuring that out. Man, my goodness, we've lost so much knowledge. So a mix of broadleaf and a nice mix of Doug firs. I was a little bit light on Doug firs, so I had her get some of those. And I think that's about it. It looks like we got 2 species. What are these guys? These are red flowering currant. Red flowering currant and red fir, Douglas fir. And these are nice, healthy trees. Look at that. I've tried a lot of different methods for digging holes, and what seems to be the best is a trenching shovel. You don't, if I can find a place free of root, you don't need to dig a hole as much as create a wedge. When planting these conifers, the most important thing is to make sure that the roots are all pointing down. If you get this, that's called a J root, it will die for sure. So you got to be sure, whatever you do, that you don't stuff them in there and then they do this. That won't work, so be careful with that. These are so long, I'm gonna have to open that up a little bit. Also, you don't want any airspace in there, any voids. So make sure those roots are down, and then make sure that the root is under grade. You don't want them above grade if you can help it. I'd love to see these. Well, that's got a long old taproot. I'd love to see these currants do well. Wouldn't that be something? Well, that's a long old taproot on that. Almost a foot long.